Welcome back to WC Coins World, the place where every coin tells a story, and today, we're delving into the fascinating world of the Washington Quarter Dollar, specifically the 1986 edition. The Washington Quarter is one of the most iconic coins in American numismatics, and the 1986 version stands as a testament to the enduring legacy of George Washington, the first president of the United States. The Washington Quarter has been minted since 1932. And over the years, it has seen numerous design changes, but its core identity has remained intact, honoring the memory of Washington, a symbol of American ideals such as liberty, democracy, and freedom. The year 1986 is an interesting one in the history of the Washington Quarter because it marks several important aspects that both numismatists and collectors look at with great interest. Before we dive into the specifics of the 1986 Washington Quarter, let's go back in time and look at how the Washington Quarter came to be, its design evolution, and how it's become such a beloved part of American coinage. In 1932, the United States Mint decided to issue a new design for the quarter to mark the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Prior to this, the quarter featured the barber design, which had been in circulation since the 1890s. The U.S. Mint wanted to create a coin that would be both a tribute to Washington and also reflective of the times. The Washington Quarter was designed by sculptor John Flanagan, whose design featured a left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse. The portrait of Washington was based on a well-known bust of him created by Jean-Antoine Houdon, a French sculptor who had created several busts of Washington during his lifetime. The reverse design initially featured an eagle with outstretched wings and a banner that read E Pluribus Unum, symbolizing the strength and unity of the United States. The Washington Quarter was an immediate success, and it remained in circulation without any major changes to the obverse design for decades. In fact, it was the longest-running design in U.S. history at the time, and it was a staple of American currency for over 60 years. But as with all things in coinage, change was inevitable. In 1965, the United States Mint made the decision to reduce the silver content of the quarter from 90% to 40% due to the rising cost of silver. This marked a significant shift in U.S. coinage, as many coins that had been made with precious metals for over a century were suddenly reduced to using a more affordable composition of copper and nickel. While the 1965 Washington Quarters were still made using the same basic design, they signified the start of a new era in American coinage. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, the Washington Quarter continued to be produced with the same basic design and the same composition of copper-nickel clad, with the exception of a few commemorative issues. It wasn't until the mid-1990s that the U.S. Mint began to experiment with new designs for the quarter. But in 1986, the design of the Washington Quarter remained unchanged, and this was part of the reason why it's such a collector's item today, as it was one of the final years in which the quarter maintained its original look before the introduction of newer designs. Let's now focus specifically on the 1986 Washington Quarter. The coin was minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, and as always, each version of the coin had slightly different characteristics. The 1986 Quarter was issued as part of the regular circulation coinage, meaning that it was distributed for everyday use and was produced in vast quantities. However, like many coins, the Washington Quarter became more valuable over time as collectors sought out coins from specific years, particularly coins that were well preserved and had never been used in circulation. The 1986 Washington Quarter is often regarded as one of the more common dates for collectors seeking a typical circulated Washington Quarter. However, the true value of this coin comes from its condition. When examining the 1986 Quarter, collectors will pay close attention to the details of the coin's strike, luster, and any imperfections that might be present. The 1986 Washington Quarter was produced in high quantities, and as a result, many of these coins show signs of wear and tear from being used in circulation. A coin that has been kept in excellent condition, however, can command a higher price from collectors who are looking for coins that are as close to mint condition as possible. In fact, many numismatists who specialize in Washington Quarters will look for the highest grade. Examples of the 1986 Quarter, which could be graded MS67 or higher by the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) or the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS). These higher grade coins are rarer and more valuable because they've been preserved without significant signs of wear. But the Washington quarter's history is not only about its design or production, it's also about the cultural impact the coin has had. The Washington quarter, especially the 1986 version, represents more than just a piece of currency. It represents the continuity of U.S. coinage and the enduring legacy of George Washington. Washington was not only the first president of the United States but also one of the most important figures in American history. He led the Continental Army to victory during the American Revolution, presided over the Constitutional Convention, and set many of the precedents that would guide the presidency and the country in the years to come. As such, the coin became a symbol of national pride, and for decades, it was used in everyday transactions, cementing its place in the pockets and wallets of Americans. But the 1986 Washington quarter is also significant because it marks the last years before the design would be replaced by new commemorative quarters. In 1999, the U.S. Mint began issuing the 50-state quarters program, which would feature different designs for each state in the Union. The 1986 Washington quarter is thus seen by some collectors as the end of an era, the final years before the major changes to the design of the quarter that would take place at the turn of the century. Over the years, the 1986 Washington quarter has become a key date for collectors who are interested in acquiring a complete set of Washington quarters. It's often included in sets of coins from the 1980s, and it is a must-have for those who specialize in Washington quarters as part of their coin collections. Despite its relative abundance in circulation, the 1986 quarter remains a staple of U.S. coinage, and it continues to be valued by collectors and investors alike. Today, the 1986 Washington quarter remains a reminder of the history and legacy of George Washington, and it is still widely circulated and used as part of the U.S. currency system. While it may not be the rarest coin in the world, its significance in American history and its place in the numismatic world cannot be understated. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, the 1986 Washington quarter is a coin that should be a part of any collection, offering a glimpse into the past and a connection to the enduring spirit of the United States. So, next time you come across a 1986 Washington quarter, take a moment to appreciate the history that it represents. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of American history, a symbol of one of the most influential figures in the nation's past, and a reminder of the rich tradition of American coinage. As we look to the future of U.S. coinage and the continued evolution of designs and compositions, the Washington quarter will always remain a beloved part of the American coin collection, and the 1986 version will continue to hold a special place in the hearts of collectors everywhere. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the Washington quarter dollar 1986 edition. I hope you've enjoyed this historical journey through time and gained a deeper appreciation for this classic piece of American numismatic history. Stay tuned for more videos here on WC Coins World as we continue to explore the fascinating world of coins, their history, and the stories they tell. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future episodes. Until next time, keep collecting and keep exploring the world of coins.